Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall STOUT. Today we want to wrap up our stop at the 2013 North Central Oklahoma Research Station Wheat Tour at Lahoma with advice on nitrogen and cover crops. Thinking drought would likely continue, Oklahoma State University graduate student Kevin Meeks planted cover crops at the Lahoma Research Station as a backup plan. Turns out the wheat grew tall with the help of healthy rains.
The wheat kind of choked out my cover crops. They're still in there, but now we've kind of gone to a relay cropping system situation. So we're gonna harvest the wheat, and then we're gonna see kind of if there was any influence of the cover crop interseeded after the wheat planted in March. After we harvest the wheat, then we have that nice forage out there from the spring cover crops, and so producers could, graze, cut it and bale it. So there's a little added income with not a whole lot of expense.
Extension Soil and Water Conservation Specialist Jason Warren says more producers are looking to cover crops.
Here in the last couple of years, there's been a gained interest in cover crops, and we've done a little bit of work, but not a lot. Last year we had some cover crops out in western Oklahoma near Gary, and of course, like most of our summer crops, they didn't do so well. But we learned a lot of things about soil water use, because they're going to use water, and we need to be able to replenish that in the fall if we're going back to wheat. And one thing, if you're going to do a summer cover crop and a wheat rotation, a continuous wheat system or a wheat canola system, you might want to try it on some of your sandier ground instead of your real heavy clay ground or silty clay loam type stuff, because those heavier soils, they take more water to recharge them and to replenish that water. And it's the same thing if you're growing a grain crop in the summer and you're wanting to go back to something in the fall. That heavier ground is going to take more water to replenish. So the cover crops can provide the residue. If you have a situation where you don't have a lot of residue in your no-till system, they can then hold on to it better. But again, they use water, and so you've got to be able to replace it and just be thoughtful about that.
If you're seriously thinking about cover crops, there are a few things to consider first.
Well, is you need to know what your intent or interest is. So if you're interested in producing nitrogen with a cover crop, of course you want to go with legume. Cowpeas or mung beans are very common in Oklahoma. They're coming along with sun hemp as kind of a new species that grows a lot of biomass under the right conditions, but it's a fairly resistant crop to decomposition compared to, say, cowpeas, but it will provide some soil structure and soil character improvements that cowpeas won't, because it's a much more heavier rooted crop. It can penetrate more dense soil, and so if your interest is to produce nitrogen as well as improve soil health or quality, then you might want to go with a sun hemp. But if your interest is primarily to gain back residue, you might go with the grass like millet or forage sorghum. You want to make sure that you know why you're doing it and what you want to achieve with it.
Meantime, OSU's cover crop research is ongoing.
The same study without the wheat part is going on at Perkins right now. And it's a rotational study where I planted these same cover crops, and in the summer I'll plant sorghum and soybeans behind the cover crop. And so if there's any yield differences after a certain cover crop, we might be able to see. And we also took soil moisture measurements as well. So last summer it didn't turn out so well because nothing turned out very well last summer for us, but hopefully in the second year we might see some different results.